What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. They say you can't choose your family. Well, you also can't choose which era of music you grew up in. This is a weekly show where we discuss our favorite bands from adolescence and how they continue to shape our lives today. Each week, we'll head back to the early 2000s and take a closer look at the cards we were dealt.
Welcome to the Roaring 20s.
Yeah, welcome to the New Year's Eve episode, the most self-indulgent episode that we do all year. It's not going to be about pop punk or emo or post-hardcore or crabcore or cool guy indie jams or shoegaze. This is just us talking about ourselves because, damn it, we pay for the hosting.
It will be a little about nu metal circa 2002, though.
We have with us, again, Zach.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi. Hi. Flapper metal. 2020 flapper metal.
Oh my God, dude. That actually got...
I saw someone post online where they were getting ready for the Roaring 20s, like MySpace spelling R-A-W-R,
Yeah.
and they dyed their hair pink. So it's...
That is funny.
I was amused. I'll say it. I'll say it. I was amused by it. I liked it.
Well, it sounds like your 2020 is off to a great start, Pat. With amusement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been amused. Yeah, that's pretty much carried me all day so far, which feels nice.
So we've got kind of a quick 2019 wrap up. We're going to go over the goals that we set out for the year. We did kind of a halfway check-in back in July. We're going to see how we did. We're not going to pass any judgment on ourselves or others. And then we're going to lay out the goals we have for 2020. And yeah, as alluded to, I have a lot, even more than last year, which was more than double what any of you guys had. So this is my solo episode, basically. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, 2019 was, I guess I'll just start out. I knew it was coming. I didn't super expect it, but I quit my job and went self-employed in 2019 and celebrated a 1-year wedding anniversary. Like, I don't know if there's bigger milestones than that to come, maybe children down the road, but 2019, everyone complains like, oh, can't wait to get that bullshit, whatever of a year done. And it's probably the same people that complained about 2018 and 2017. I had a great year. I think the podcast had a super great year.
We took a very long break.
Yeah, for the first time, and came back stronger than ever. We'll talk about that as well. And I am freaking ready for 2020. I'll tell you that.
Are you guys big? So like everybody has their holidays. Like I like Thanksgiving a lot. Mostly food related reasons there. But are you guys New Year's people? Is it special to you? Does it feel special to you? Some people don't like Christmas. Some people don't like this or that. Do you get pumped up for December 31st or not really?
Can I explain to you how my New Year's Eve went down last night?
If it sheds light on how you feel about the holiday overall, yeah, for sure.
Sure. Thank you. I watched a TV show with Megan for about 2 hours. Then I read a chapter of Lord of the Rings. I fell asleep at 9:45 p.m. I woke up at 12:40 with acid reflux. I looked at my watch, saw that it was 12:40. I patted Megan on the shoulder and said, Happy New Year. But she sleeps with the earplugs in, so she didn't hear me. And I went back to bed.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's me. I don't give a shit.
I know this is like pretty typical
anything.
bros chatting on a podcast question right here, but what gave you the acid reflux? I'm wildly curious.
The frozen pizza, it hasn't been treating me well lately. I just need to stop.
You get the cauliflower
it's so cheap
crust?
and it's so easy. No, we get like the Red Baron classic crust pepperoni because it's like $3 for an entire pizza. And
America, baby.
Worth every penny.
oh yeah, I mean it's good stuff. But like, and we'll talk about this too. I've been not a diet. I've been changing my eating habits, and I've been eating significantly less than I used to. And whenever I have that pizza in front of me, it's just like everything in the universe dares me to try to eat the whole thing. And I just ate too much. It happens every time. So I think the frozen pizzas have to go away.
I don't agree with that resolution, Tom. I think you need to continue your consumption of frozen pizzas.
Get fatter. You guys like New Year's? Is that your?
I'll jump in. I'll say that's my first real resolution is to put better stuff into my body. I think I don't want to do any like dramatic. I'm not going to consume X, Y, or Z over the next month or a dry January or anything. But I think more fruits and vegetables for sure. I kind of want to cook more. But yeah, I can definitely feel myself getting a touch older than I felt when I was 20. I guess this is the year I'll turn 30. So if I'm lucky, we'll have another two sets of 30 years to go through. So got to start feeding the machine with the appropriate fuel, I guess. So I'll throw that down. I'll say eat a little better.
All right. So we have Pat jumping halfway through the episode. Eat a little healthier for 2020.
Oh, are we not doing the resolution episode?
No, let's talk about how we did in 2019 and see if we checked all the boxes.
and how did we celebrate New Year's Eve on 2020?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. I take it back. You know what? It's decided. I'm not going to be better to my body in 2020. I think that's a good omen.
So, Tom, you sat and you watched some TV with Megan and ate some pizzas and had some acid reflux. And
yep.
That is not all too different from what I did. The only difference, well, there's several differences, but so I spent my time alone. It was wonderful.
Sublime.
It was quiet.
Nice.
I started watching Shameless on Netflix.
Ooh.
As a recommendation from my sister, so I watched some of those. I ate a half a pound of broccoli.
Yes.
And 4 scrambled eggs. What else did I do? I shoveled a little bit of snow, but not much snow. And I too went to bed quite early and woke up, realized it was past the ball drop, and I don't know, I guess I patted my cat on the head and said, "Nice job, you made it." But
you did it.
That's about it. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's some of that late 20s energy coming out of all of us. What about you, Pat?
Oh, real similar. Jesse drew the short straw. I guess, I don't know if I've said this officially on the show, but we live in Greensboro, North Carolina now, and she's been at her new job for a few months. So she had much of Christmas off. We went back to Erie, got to see Zach a little bit, among, some few other friends too. But yeah, so she worked, so I didn't, I kind of stayed in and kept it easy. But I would say, it was all right. I took a little nap so I could stay up past midnight. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty same as you guys. This was not the year to brag about the. I do like going out on New Year's Eve though. That's for sure. It's one of the holidays I do enjoy. Kind of the excitement. I know it's arbitrary to like pick January 1st as the date.
All right, so pretty low key, which is I guess I'm more surprised from you, Pat. But I guess a portion of it had to do with Jesse being at work. That's a bummer. Well, what?
Yeah, she really likes it.
Yeah.
She really likes it a lot, so maybe next year we'll get after a little bit. She's not too big on some of the other ones, but 4th of July and New Year's Eve are her holidays, so I kind of felt bad for her. But, it's all right.
Yeah. Well, what did y'all have on your list for 2019, things you wanted to accomplish? Want to kind of get through this quickly, but see how we did.
Let's see, I had probably 3 major things on my list for 2019. Right at the top, it says finished house, which included finishing the front bedroom, finishing the kitchen, the master suite, which is the second floor of the house entirely, and do some outdoor lighting. So running the lighting from a sub panel and, landscape lighting and stuff like that. Well, I am pleased to say that I finished the front bedroom.
Okay.
I finished the kitchen.
Ooh.
And I scratched the outdoor lighting. So there's one thing remaining there.
Master suite. Okay.
And the master suite has a plan, and the plan is there, and it's down, and it's set, and I would just have to do it. But that front bedroom took a long time to do. There's a lot of work that needed to be done there, and the kitchen also took a lot of extra work. So
yeah,
being working 10 hours a day all summer long and half the spring and fall, that's hard to get going on those projects and really get some meat taken out of them. But I know I got two major things done on the house. So that feels
Nice,
good.
dude. That's
So
huge.
Master Suite done by the spring, bam, and that'll be it. That'll be done. I'll wash
And just to
my hands of
clarify,
this place.
this is you doing the work, not hiring someone else.
Yeah, it's real
Yeah.
easy to call somebody and have them do it and pay it. No, this is me coming home from being a bricklayer, mason all summer, every day, and doing more work after work. So getting
That
home
sounds
at
brutal,
3
yeah.
and working till like 9.
Ay.
So yeah, lots of work. Very, very, very much lots of work. Anyway, second thing on the list, I think it's a large one for me. Yeah, I think the top 3 are pretty large things. The second one, this is outrageous. This is the one that probably was not going to happen at all.
The
But I
stretch
did get a
goal.
percentage. But I have it written down here, save 75% of my 2019 income. That's huge. That's like
insane.
25% less than 100%.
I think I spent 125% of my income this year. So anything less than that is great.
So I think
All right.
if I look back and I'd be ballparking it here, but I think I saved like 40% of it. So I'm okay. I'm happy with that.
That's awesome. Jesus Christ.
It's still pretty good. I know I set a lofty goal there, but I had a lofty goal associated with that 75%, even though it was out of this world difficult to do. But because I did not save 75%, I was able to buy an electric guitar and an amp, which is not one of the large things on the list, but I have wanted an electric guitar amp combo since I sold all of my old gear back in college. I've wanted it for a long time, so I splurged and bought a really, really nice used Fender tube amp, and I bought an electric guitar, and then I just
pedals.
Oh, I opened up the floodgates and bought pedals and mics and cords and cables and monitors. I just bought everything, and I've been
dude.
having so much fun with it. It was totally worth it. Totally worth every expense that I've put into it. I've had so much fun. So I can successfully and very proudly scratch that one off of my 2019 completions, I suppose. My resolutions were do that and more. So I'm happy with that one. The other one...
In like a month, you got better at recording music than me, which is infuriating, but also I'm proud. I'm happy for you. So.
But I can't mix like you. I can send you these files, and they come back, and they sound so much better, though.
That's more important, man. Recording's more important.
That's what I've been told, and that's what I've read. Yeah, it's really important for the recording quality to be there. So, but it took a lot of time. But again, super proud. I completed that, and I feel really good about it. I love the amp. I love my pedals. I love my guitar.
Hell yeah.
It's a happy feeling all around. The third major thing on my 2019 resolution list would be the finishing the album recording process.
Yeah.
I can say that I have not done that, but
You've done a bit of work though. And I mean, a lot of it was prepping with buying the equipment and, learning how to record and multi-track and stuff like that. So,
but I know I can say that I have sufficient material to complete an album. It's there, it's written, the ideas are present, and the structure's there, and there's all sorts of wiggle room, but I know the content is there. All it takes now is just getting it onto the laptop, and plenty of material that's there, which is a really good thing. Because a lot of people struggle. I've read a lot of people struggle like finishing songs. Like they'll start a song and they can't finish it. That's why they can't record their stuff.
Me.
So I'm so happy that there's like a bunch of songs that are finished that just need to be tweaked with people or gear or experimental sounds and then really solidifying how you want it to sound and recording it and going through the process. So, but I'm glad that the content's there. It's not done, but the content is there.
Nice. Yeah.
And the last thing I have on my list of 2019 resolutions is to have Pat and Tom visit my Minneapolis home, as well as driving up to Iron River, Wisconsin, and spending some time in the woods. And unfortunately, that did not happen because there was a lot of other things going on. And traveling to Minneapolis can be hard.
We're trying to roll that over into 2020 for sure, right? Like soon-ish, right, Pat?
Yeah, I think I might scoot up, but that doesn't mean we can't also scoot up other times. My new job is going to start pretty soon, so I wanted to maybe sneak one in. And I texted you about this the other day a little bit, but yeah, the more the merrier, I say. As many as we physically can, I would argue.
You want to give your 2019, see how you did?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if this was an official resolution, but I knew we wanted to see each other more after. I think there was like a 2 or 3 year stretch where we didn't as much.
Yeah.
So I would like to just present to the court the 10-year Academy reunion that we kind of turned into a little reunion for ourselves. I don't know if we want to expand on that later, but I think it's worth celebrating a touch. So I will add that and cross it off as I go, even though it wasn't an official resolution for the last year. Mostly because I don't have as many as Tom and Zach, so I'm just going to kind of sneak these out as we go. One of them was to volunteer, spend a year with a kid in Cincinnati when we were living there. It was one that I was definitely proud to be able to cross off. I don't really know if it's worth going into the super duper details of it, but I feel like he probably didn't get that much bigger when I was with him, but it felt like he went from like being a super tiny child to like a blossoming young man almost. I don't know. It definitely impacted me in ways that were hard to describe. It was fun. It was frustrating. It was, he got to see his first Bengals game, which he just like, I don't know, he lost it. It was just, I don't know, the type of stuff that makes you feel good. So that was very much like one of the bigger ones on my list. I'm glad I was able to do it. It was sad when we...
Big Brothers, Big Sisters, right?
Yeah. I would recommend the program to anyone with the time. I would say, if you're curious about whether or not you have the time to put toward it, I would say that's something to look into. But if you do have the time and you want to do it, I think your sister does it, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a few hours a month. It's just it's real nice. And I got to see a lot more kids movies than I ever thought I would. And AKA, I didn't realize Jack Black had been in like a bunch of Goosebumps movies over the last 5 years. So that was like pretty fun to check out. One of my resolutions was save for a down payment on a house, which is hard to be like, it's pretty easy to just say like, yes, we did that. So that's very unexciting. And use my passport that I got in 2017 as a resolution was a big one. And yeah, I might just pass the baton to you, Tom, because mine are way less interesting and wildly less specific than yours. I think this episode is based around your like dream list. And I'm always excited to hear what you have to say mostly.
Well, you went out of the country, right? Vancouver?
Yeah, I think the doc we shared was from 2017. 2019 was kind of a weird year. I was talking about it with my wife. We decided we wanted to move. We did some research into where we wanted to move. We did a big job search for the both of us. And then towards the end of the year, we ended up in a place. And that took up like 2/3 of the middle of the year. So 2019 was kind of a reset year for me and us. So I don't think I have as much to report. So without any like bad vibes at all, I would just, on to you, my man. But the volunteer thing felt great. We're still pen pals loosely. Been sending letters and postcards back and forth, which I don't know. It's nice, man. Feels really great.
Nice. That's good, man. That sounds huge. I mean, it feels huge.
And we came out, we self-published Ron Carnage, Thinker Boy from the Reminiscent podcast, which was definitely more of a life goal than a resolution to, I don't know if we want to make this a Ron Carnage thing. Maybe we'll talk about it more when we talk about this year's resolutions, but it was weird and it was fun, and that's all we ever wanted it to be. And it's one of those things that you always wonder if you could even write that many words that are related to each other. And we definitely worked hard on it, and it was nice. It was, I don't know if it was fulfilling, because it was like, what the is this? But it was done when it was done. I think it was. And I don't know. It was quite the experience, I guess.
So I read Ron Carnage on the flight home from the Cincinnati 10-year Academy reunion that I attended.
Did you hate it?
No, I read it and so for the listeners out there who know this this podcast. I'm not part of it often, but we are so tight. We're so good friends, such good friends. Every time we visit each other, when I get dropped off at the airport, I fucking cry my eyes out until I fall asleep on the airplane or something else. But I just can't stop. It hurts too much. And I love you guys so much. You're such an essential part of my life that when I leave, when we all leave, it impacts me in a way that's hard to control. But I read this book, which stayed my tears and really gave me like tears of joy, because this is fucking hilarious. And it's Pat's essence in words, and it's so funny, and I loved it. Every page, it was so great. No, it's a great book.
Well, thanks for saying that. I got irrationally upset with Tom for just telling my mom that it happened, which is me being weird, not him being weird. I think it was definitely, I don't want to say an execretion, but like it was definitely just like a word vomit, like a brain splatter or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think to Carnage is going to be hopefully a little more following a rubric, a hero's journey of sorts, but still be strange. I don't know. We'll talk about it more later. I don't want to bogart the mic, but yeah, Tom, again, I hate talking about myself. If anyone who listens to the show knows that, so please go. I guess
All right, so I'll get through them fast. My first one was have more of my own clients than other people's clients. I do a lot of subcontracted work for audio editing. This one actually kind of happened accidentally. I like got what I wanted, but not in the way that I wanted. All my subcontracted people, their work slowed down, so then they stopped giving it to me. And I had a lot of referrals and stuff by the end of the year. So I'm coming about even with my own clients versus other people's clients, which means way more money in way less time. So that should kind of always be the goal. From there, I have make $100,000 and save 10. This goal was lofty, especially because at the beginning of the year, I was only making $16 an hour at Tesla. I didn't really know I was going to be quitting my job and going self-employed. But I was actually like closer than I even thought was possible. And looking back at all my numbers, you know, I made twice as much as I did last year, and I only edited 14 hours a week. Whereas the year before that, I was working like 50, 60-hour weeks. So I am super happy. I'm really bummed to say I didn't save $10,000. I didn't even save money to put aside for taxes. So come April, I might be doing these episodes from prison. So I don't know.
Oh, God.
Make online courses. Now, this is a big one that's been with me for a while. I wanted to develop info courses with a colleague and, you know, train music producers how to transition into podcast engineering for a side hustle type deal. When we took our 2-month break this summer, that's what I was supposed to be doing the whole time. And I just didn't fucking do it at all. We have the outline, we have the structure, everything down. We're working on the sales funnel and the freebies and the giveaways and stuff. So there is stuff being done, but the courses are not filmed, which I think is a huge failure this year. But I'm hoping to do those within the first quarter of 2020 so that I have products to sell to make more passive income. I wanted to launch my beard company. I am putting this goal to rest. That's not my focus that I want to do anymore. I'll continue to make my own beard product, but I have more pressing things to focus on. I have visit my sister once, my dad once, and you guys twice. I think I saw my sister 3 times last year. I saw my dad twice, I think, and I saw you guys twice, maybe? Once? I don't know.
I forget when I was out in Denver, and I forget why we were out in Denver. It might have been a 2018 wedding, though.
Okay. I think we might have seen each other once, but it was like a good weekend. So made the most out of that. We all flew into Cincinnati and then drove from Cincinnati the 5.5 hours or so to Erie. Spent the weekend for our 10-year anniversary. We have that episode somewhere. I bailed on it to hang out with Zach instead at my dad's house, so that was good. A really important one was to 10x the listeners of our podcast. At the beginning of 2019, we didn't really have a plan or anything. We went away for those 2 months and we decided, like, if we're going to come back, we're going to do it right. We're going to put, we're going to double or triple our efforts into the show. And since then, we have at least 4x'd our listeners within a month of downloading, and we certainly have some episodes that have 10x'd our numbers, specifically like the Lincoln Park and something corporate was the other one in there. We have an Evanescence episode. Like there are probably about a dozen episodes where the numbers are 10 times what they were at the beginning of the year, which is crazy. I'll say it's maybe not where I want it to be, but that is a success. I have published Ron Carnage, which we did. I have sell 10,000 copies. I think we sold 10, so a little short of that goal. One of the weird ones, the more adult, was go to the dentist and get everything fixed. Now, I had dental insurance for years and I never used it. I hadn't been to the dentist in over 10 years. And I went expecting the worst because I only brush my teeth in the morning and I rarely floss. But I went to the dentist and they were like, yeah, everything's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. And I told them, I was like, I only brush once in the morning. And the girl was like, it's good enough, man. Keep doing it. So I was shocked. I've never had a cavity in my life and I'm moving on 28 and they said that everything looked good.
I think your straight edge lifestyle probably, goes into that a little bit. I mean, there are toxins you're not actively putting on your teeth, which I'm sure helps. I'm not trying to be funny at all.
Sure. No, yeah. I mean, coffee and energy drinks probably don't help. But
nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But
so the big one, this is a huge, huge, huge one. I wanted to start paying all my student loans. I know we've talked about it before, but I got f***ed with like $110,000 of student loans at like 13% interest that were pretty much impossible to pay off. I paid them for 6 years and the balance was more than when I started paying. And something kind of unexpected, one of my student loans went into default, so went to collections, but I found out, and this is like a huge life hack for anyone that has loans they can't pay off. It was a private loan. It went to collections. It was $26,000 on my loan, and I found out that the interest freezes. So now it's a no interest loan. It sat for about 2 years until I convinced them to let me settle it for $16,000 rather than $26,000. And I made an agreement to pay that off over 2 years. So now I'm paying $667 a month for 2 years in order to pay off a loan that $16,000 of a loan that if I paid what they wanted me to at the interest rate it was, I would have paid close to like $60,000 over 10 years. So that feels like a huge win. I'm paying it super aggressively. So that's kind of why, like, even though I made more money than I did the year before that, it kind of feels like I have less because I'm paying my loans aggressively. Federal loan is on hold and I'm paying my other private one right now. So I want to be out of debt completely in 6 years, if I can, is kind of the goal. And I've already paid off a huge portion of my worst loan. And that feels like a massive win. I'm really stoked about that. 3 more. I wanted to work with CGP Grey and or Brady Heron, the host of the Hello Internet podcast. I've communicated with both of them. Nothing is really going on with that right now, but this actually kind of translated something into a 2020 goal. So I'll do more on that later. Every year for 5 years, I've been saying I want to lose 15 pounds, and I kind of accidentally did this year. I lost like 17, and then through the holidays, I gained back 7, unfortunately. So I pretty effortlessly ended up losing 17, ended up at losing only 10 pounds this year. I'm just over 190, so roll it into 2020.
So Tom, you're the king of the life hacks then. You kind of accidentally lose weight, and then you accidentally life hack your way into paying less of your student loans too. That's fucking genius, dude. What was I thinking?
So I'll be rolling another 12 pounds into 2020, and by that I mean losing it. And then the last one was to make friends. I don't know. I don't really give a shit about that anymore. Like there's been a few people that I've exchanged numbers with and like said we're going to hang out. Then I just don't have the energy. I don't know. I might just live the rest of my life alone, which kind of feels fine. And, that was my 2019, ending on a kind of weird note, but I think overall 2019 was the most transitional year of my life. It was the most wins I experienced in such a short amount of time. And I feel like it's like a lot of it was prepping in 2018. The momentum started in 2019, and I'm hoping that 2020 is kind of the year that I cash in on all of it. So this feels like a pretty good launch point into a very successful 2020. So I'm excited to get into all that stuff.
I feel similarly. I think 2018, 2019 were big prep years, and 2020, for me too, I've got all these things on deck, all these happenings. And it's all about to come to fruition. All these different changes, huge, big life changes are about to just happen in the month by month. And it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild to witness and live through. And I can't wait either. I'm really excited. I'm excited for you too. And honestly, I don't make friends because I don't care if I ever want to make. I've got you guys and a couple other people. I don't need to make any more friends. I don't care.
That's how I feel too.
Anyway,
like nothing will ever compare. So why even try? Kind of. But I don't know. I don't know if that's unfair to you guys. And
I don't think that's any way to live, man. I'll just chime in. Like, I'm not going to pursue any more happiness. I've had plenty in my 27 years of there's many more years to go. I don't know. I think you're selling yourself short because you're a nice guy, but I'll step off that one. I've been losing that battle on this show for years. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of nice people out there.
All right.
It doesn't mean we don't have to end our contract if you meet another person. You know what I mean? We could still definitely be total friends. Anyway, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying, is what I'm saying.
That's it.
Like a friend date where you're hanging out and having a beer.
It is harder. It is harder.
And you say,
adulthood.
My friend Pat is way better than you.
You'll never fucking add up, dude.
I would love to watch that sketch of you telling your new potential friend how great we are the whole time. They never would do that. But.
Damn. All right. Well, 2020, today is New Year's Day, right? Yeah, this is New Year's Day that we're recording this. Yeah. So we are fresh into it. This will be coming out on the 3rd. And again, you can tweet at the show at _reminiscentfm. I'd be interested to hear other goals and resolutions, whatever you want to call them, that people were, can claim they checked off in 2019. We will gladly champion you into this year. And we can honestly all hold each other accountable. So hit us up. And more people have been doing that, and that feels like also one of the biggest wins of 2019. A lot of people are kind of chatting with us about the show and about the music we love, and that's also has been one of my biggest highlights of the year. And we'll see more of that in 2020. So who wants to start 2020 with what we're looking forward to?
I'll start. Yeah, so this wasn't necessarily a resolution for 2019, but it's definitely a thought in the back of my mind was to change careers, which was something that was going to probably be an inevitability when Jesse and I moved, which was a few months ago. And yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but got a lead on potentially a new gig in the, I don't want to, jinx it or anything, but might be starting the new year at a new job, a new field loosely here in Greensboro in the new year, which the more I think about it and the more I've thought about it, feels kind of nice because I think I was getting burnt out doing the same thing for a few years there. So I'm excited to continue on a different path, I guess. I don't know. It feels kind of weird because you do the same thing for so long. And I say so long like I worked in a factory for 40 years. It was like 5 years. But, you get kind of burnt out on something and you think, I guess I'm going to die like this, right? Or that's a little dramatic, obviously. But, it's Jesse and I looked at everything that was happening and we said we should do it differently. So we got a dog, we sent out some applications, and then we ended up moving. So it was kind of weird to kind of put it out into the universe and have it come back to us. It took a little time and some hard work or whatever. But yeah, I think that might, and again, I don't want to jinx or go too fast, but I might be able to set that resolution and hit it, is to change careers this year, which feels nice. Yeah.
And it's you're going out for a rock climbing instructor job, right?
Yeah, no, it's a big change, which is scary considering I've never rock climbed before. So a lot of people, even my own mother was, she was like, don't be such a bitch boy, right? Which is, she calls me that all the time. It's her little fun nickname for me. But yeah, no, it's going to be hopefully communications at a local university. Have done a couple interviews, which is, I don't know, I've been kind of hush about it on the pod. Mostly because there's been like a period of unemployment, which anybody would be hesitant to discuss at length. But it's given us an opportunity to really grow the listenership and everything. It's kind of been nice to dump all our energy into something new and something a little more fun in terms of creatively and writing and everything like that. So, yeah, it's been exciting to kind of realize what you want and what you like to do kind of moving forward. Because, I don't know, it's weird being an adult knowing it's just going to be more adulthood for the next like chunk of 30 years. So it's kind of like daunting but exciting. So it felt nice to kind of start a couple new things instead of already be tired of something that you weren't even that deep into to begin with. So it seems like such a simple concept. But anyway, that's one of my main ones for this year.
Nice. Okay.
Giddy up.
What else? Or are we taking turns?
I don't know. I can blow through mine because I don't have very many at all. Save for a House is still on there. I think this might be the year. I think that's been on my list for like the last 3 or 4 of these. We've been doing the show for a while now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a slow burn, as you can tell. But yeah, we might settle. I mean, moving is the worst. You know, like much of this year was just a lot of time and energy into like changing spots. But I think we might settle for a minute and just see where our life in Greensboro takes us. It's Pleasant town. We seem to like it. The dog likes it because we live next to this like giant park right now in the apartment we're at. So, yeah, I think we might try to do the house thing this year, which is kind of like, you know, the precursor to kids type thing, as far as I can tell, which maybe next year they'll be singing a different tune and there'll be a whole new batch of like big life events that'll be coming our way. But that's not this year. So yeah, that's all right. Oh, student loans are officially gone, which feels nice. I get to kind of cross those off.
Yes.
That's like something that doesn't have to get carried over as like an annual still doing them. You know, like that was something that we like before the move. It was like kind of took the money I had left. Right now, I should have let him go into default, but no, it's like a weird. Yeah. Anyway, I don't really like. Again, I'm floundering because I hate talking about myself, but that was nice to do and not have anymore. So. Obviously, great content here. And I don't know if we want to save this for the end because I have a lot to say about. We're halfway through writing To Ron to Carnage. We've been at it kind of all through last year. We've scrapped a lot of it. Like we've started over 3 or 4 or 5 times now, and kind of just kept the best parts and continued to recycle. And I think we're at a point where we're halfway through, and we've taken some of the best stuff we've written from everything we've written for like the course of a year, and you know. Some days you're like, this is nonsense and I hate everything and myself. But then some days you're like, okay, this is still creative and good and fulfilling. And there was like a joke about, I was talking to Tom the other day on the phone where we snuck in, it's not even a joke really, but they start talking about rebroadcasting NFL games without the express written consent of the league. And I'm glad Tom's laughing again because on the surface it shouldn't be entertaining. But it kind of reminded me why we do it. Right. And just like kind of to amuse each other mostly. But this one, we've learned a lot. This one will be better. And I don't know if we even need to say much more, but I think we're shooting for like a Christmas release this year or like a Black Friday release. So that's pretty exciting and nice that it's still fun and like fulfilling to be creative. I don't know. It came out of nowhere and continues to be the weirdest, coolest, most fun thing. So yeah, it's really nice. Definitely that's probably the biggest goal this year for me.
Nice, dude. Yeah, we'll talk more about that for sure, but I'm excited. And you keep saying we are writing. You know, I'm helping with some ideas, but you're writing. We can all say that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's like from Reminiscent. I don't know. It started off as like a fusion idea that spawned from the show when it was a little more freewheeling and not as like music centric. So we kind of hid that for a while. But I think we're still going to use the pen name Aaron Matthew Matthews just because it's a bit of a collaboration and it's also quite bizarre at points. So we'll just let the fictional Aaron Matthew Matthews, take the brunt of most of that. But yeah, until further notice, it's definitely a collaboration. So just for the sake of argument, I don't want anybody to be like, wow, who wrote this part? Be like, I don't know. I don't remember actually, honestly. So, but yeah.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, that's it for me. I don't have a ton. Tom's way better at this. I enjoy doing this episode because I love to hear the joy in his voice when he like gets confident about like wanting to accomplish and it fires me up. That's not how my brain works. So I'm just here to have fun. Anyway, you guys can take it away from here.
Okay. Pat, it was good to hear your resolutions. I'm
Thanks,
really
man.
excited. I'm excited
That's
that you're
very nice of you to say. Because they were short and not very exact at all. But
I'm glad you're trying to buy a house. It's huge.
would you recommend it? I'll ask that before I step off the mic.
Oh yeah, of course. From a financial standpoint, yeah, I'd recommend buying a house versus renting.
I think diversifying the portfolio is really where I'm at.
Oh,
to be honest.
yeah.
Go ahead.
You can't put all your money into Hanes underpants stock. Right?
Oh my God. I've told that story on the show before. I don't know if I told the story about interviewing. I'll save it for later, but there's a couple like interviewing. Never mind. There's some stuff we're working into the book that it's just the trials and tribulations of being fairly stupid at certain things. So. But yeah, I do remember because I hadn't read what the rules of TD Ameritrade. For those who hadn't heard that episode, which you probably haven't if you're here, but it took me like 40 minutes to lose $25 like really fast because of the transaction fee thing. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. About one Hanes underwear stock and was like, oh no. And then I sold it right away. Like, oh, I'll just make my money back. But I lost $10 because it's 5 to get, 5 to sell or whatever. So I was like, what the hell's happening? So I went back and I bought 2, like that was going to fix it. So I lost another $5 just to get like, obviously it took me way too long to realize people are dealing with more than just a few penny stocks. The idea would be to get perhaps many of them to make it be a wise use of time. But when you get there, if you see the $5 and you think to yourself, that's kind of steep, then I think you're probably not in a position to be like competitively trading stocks. Just get off, man. Take the $5 and buy yourself lunch or something. Like this isn't going to end well for you. So anyway, yeah.
All right. Zach, what are you working towards?
Well, 2020 starts with me finishing this house completely. There's that one last step to do upstairs. Finish up this master suite. It's essentially everything needs to be done up there. I need to put in a tub surround, so tile. I need to put, I need to do some sheetrock work in there. I need to do fixtures, tile on the floor, vanity, toilet, all that stuff. Do some extra lighting in there. Install a French door, install some pocket cabinets. I have to put floor down in the bedroom. I have to paint up there, a couple other sheetrock things, more light fixtures. And, there's a lot of things to do up there. I have a good gauge and a trajectory toward finishing the house by the end of March. I want to have it done by March and then have it on the market ready to go by the end of April.
Hell yeah, dude. Sell that
I'm more confident in putting it up at the end of March or at the end of April, having it on the market then and having it go really fast. The selling point, at the point that the house sells, that point specifically, launches me into my next 2020 resolution, and that's homeward bound for a while. I'm going to go back to Erie, Pennsylvania for a little bit. I don't know how long that's going to be right off the bat, but I know I'm going to go home, and I have a couple goals there that are for self-love, for self-betterment, for just kind of finishing this rounding off of, or not finishing, but getting closer to finishing this rounding off of my person, my me. And that's to spend some time with my parents who I haven't really seen for an extended period of time for many years, since I went to college. And I did see them a lot in college, but still, like being with my family and my old friends and working simultaneously. One of my goals is to finish their basement so that when their kids and grandkids come home, there's a place for them to sleep comfortably in the basement. And it will also be my quarters while I'm there. I'll be staying there for a while. And y'all know Craig Logren. He was the first masonry guy that I worked for back in Erie, Pennsylvania. And he called me up and asked if, hey, can I have you commit? Are you committed to at least one season with me in 2020 for masonry? And I was thinking maybe I'll just go home and continue with the union. But honestly, I don't know where I'm going to be at the end of 2020. might be in Denver. I might be in Greensboro. I might be in Asheville. I might be in Hawaii. Who knows where I'll be? So 2020 is a season of masonry with Craig Logren. It's some extra work on the side for neighborhood friends and family and helping my parents out with their home and getting their home a little bit more rounded and finished off so that they could host more people during the holidays, which I know they love to do. They just get so happy when they have everybody home. So if I can help in that process, I'm going to do that. Craig also has this cabin in the woods behind his property, and it's this off-the-grid type cabin on 20 or 30 acres, and he wants to finish it as like a secondary home, like an escape away from the wife and the business and everything. And he asked me if I could finish that for him. And I'll probably spend some time in the winter in the off months finishing that place. And I don't know what else it has to have done. I haven't really seen it, but I'm guessing it's just piddly stuff. And on top of turning it into like a self-sustaining cabin, like a sustainable cabin with rainwater collection and a wood stove for heat. And so, there's a bunch of different solar power, all the things for a self-sustaining cabin with being off the grid. And if I finish that for him, I could stay there as long as I want, whenever I want. So I could have a cabin in the woods without really owning a cabin in the woods. It'll just be mine to use when I want. So that was kind of a nice incentive as well. So, I mean, all these things are like, wow, this is like too good to be true. But am I finally realizing that, people actually really do love me and they want to, if I do things for them, they'll do things for me. And, oh yeah, that's how that works. Like, and I'm not speaking to Hugh or Pat, like, or anyone else in my family or other friends, but like, damn, I forgot that, yeah, people are nice to me and they care about me, and that's a good thing to remember. So that's another big 2020 thing. Leads me to my next and final resolution for 2020, and that is I'm going to do a lot better. I'm going to practice at relaxing and trying to just chill out, because I have such a hard time doing that. And I know I listed off like enough work for some to think like, how are you ever going to relax? You just built out this schedule of finishing a cabin and finishing a basement and working with this person. And how are you going to relax? I'm like, well, yeah, that's right. And I'm conflicted with that a little bit, but I have room to cross things out if I want to. And so I'm going to just relax and do yoga and calm down and chill out and take a break, because I haven't taken a break in a long time and it's affecting me in the worst ways. So that's the last one. Relax. Oh, and I don't even put music in there because I know that's going to happen. So I don't need to tell myself I need a 2020 resolution for music. That album's going to get done, and I know it's going to get done. And so I'm not even going to put it on the list.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. But that's me. That's 2020. Erie is not the final destination for me. I would like to be closer to you guys, and whether it be Greensboro or Asheville or somewhere in the middle, depending on where everybody is, the sky's kind of the limit. And I'm not going to move to the moon or anything, because that's a little far. And I'm not going to move to Hawaii or Montana or anything like that either. But, closer to you guys, closer to family, east of the Mississippi is a good spot, but not Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is east of the Mississippi, right? I think, no, maybe I got that wrong.
It's a good question. Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure. My guess would be west. I think it runs along the eastern border, maybe, of the state.
Yep, it is. So, yep. So cross that one out. That's not going to happen.
I didn't know you were planning on going back to Erie for a bit. My dad already called and invited you over for a campfire anytime you want. So,
yes,
yeah,
I can't wait. Yeah, it'll be a little bit. I need to help my parents out a little bit. They need some help, and Craig needs some help, and I need some help, and I think it's easier to just plop down there for a little bit and heal before I set out on the next adventure.
Yeah, dude. That sounds like a good year for sure. It's relaxing.
I'm excited for it.
I've got some relax type stuff in mine. I had them split into 3 sections. I got personal, art related, and then business. 2 things that I've been saying I was going to do since I was since I was 3, I've wanted to skydive. I think we all remember the Power Rangers movie that came out, I think, in 93, when he had what were they called? The slime people, the purple. Anyway, the White Power Ranger, I think they all skydived into the movie, and I think the White Power Ranger, was on a snowboard or something. And, since I was, 2 or 3, I'm like, man, I got to skydive. And I've been, very adamant about, I'm going to do it this year, forever, and I haven't. So I'm going skydiving this year. Another thing, a little less consequential, I really want to do a breakout room. Part of that is having friends to do it with, and as we've already mentioned, I don't have friends, so that one's a little hard. Another weird one, I've only seen Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, which I guess is the worst one, and
one of the worst ones. Yes,
I kind of just want to watch all of the Star Wars movies just to be in that part of culture, join society. And I don't know. I never really cared. I still don't really care, but it's kind of just something that would be fun to say that I did. As with my teeth last year, I want to switch all of that motivation to my car and get everything with my car fixed. There's kind of a lot. I don't treat it very well because I don't use it that often. So I'm just kind of I think it's been 17 months since I've had an oil change.
Oh my God.
But in my defense, I've only driven it 4,000 miles in 17 months. So there's a lot going wrong with that car. I got to get it fixed. I've had a windmill tattoo on it's like a half sleeve on my left arm. Not even a sleeve. It's just a big piece. It's my Blink-182 tattoo. I got it just as I was moving away from DC, and there's a little bit of the sky that isn't finished. So it's been unfinished for about 3.5 years. I want to finish that tattoo because it's my favorite. And again, I already mentioned I want to lose that last 10 pounds, get myself down to 180, and maybe in the meantime, try to build up some muscle. So more muscle, be at 180. So it's probably more losing 15 pounds of fat and then getting 5 back of muscle, whatever. Trying to get in better shape, because when I was in the process of losing weight, I've honestly never felt better in my life. And even if I stay at the same weight forever, I want to feel the way I did when I was eating better. So that's a big one for me. Kind of personal, I guess. I read 13 books this year, all fiction, one Steve Jobs biography. I want to read 20 fiction books this year. That's part of my practicing relaxing. I get panic attacks if I'm not working, because I feel then I'm going to fail and I'm going to lose my business and have to go back to installing solar panels or something. There's a lot of complex feelings about that, mainly centered around fear, but I'm trying to meditate through some of that in 2020, read 20 fiction books, and that doesn't include the kind of business and self-improvement stuff from Audible. In terms of books, I do want to get Turon to Carnage, which I think is legitimately what we're calling the sequel. I would love to get that out by Christmas. That's
not a working title. That's 100% what we're calling it.
There's a lot of stuff that goes in with that. We kind of want to relaunch Pod Carnage inside the author studio, because Pat and I have been having some really awesome planning phone calls and going over storyline and character development, and it would be fun to just record that to listen to later, after the book's done, to see what actually made it, what didn't. And bought some courses on how to sell Facebook ads, so we're going to look at properly marketing it and getting new maps done and really going all out with it. So I'm excited for that. And like Zach, I want to finish an album this year. It's not going to happen. I already know it because I'm really bad at finishing songs. But I want to do a Taylor Swift cover album. I want to call it 1991, a play off of her 1989, obviously. I was born in 91. Call it 1991, a Taylor Swift cover album. I have 18 songs that I'd like to do, and I have the music for 2 of them done already. I just need to get vocals down. So I want to do some of that. I've been buying a lot of plugins for Pro Tools, the whole Steven Slate suite, got everything in there. Lots of fun, vintage analog style preamps and like emulated compressors and stuff to play with. So I'm really excited about that. I feel like I broke a little bit of ground when I was mixing some 400 par stuff that Zach sent, and most of that because his recordings were so good, but I want to do more music. The next section is all professional. The first thing is I actually had a consultation call with a small business consultant yesterday. I want to niche down. I want to serve only a very specific type of podcaster, maybe talking about a few specific topics. I really want to work with YouTubers and help them develop a podcast to supplement their YouTube channel. It's kind of what I'm thinking. And the reason I think niching down right now is so important is because I'm getting a lot of referrals from one of my clients, which is obviously amazing, and I really appreciate it. And I love her show, but it's a really heavy topic. It's about dealing with an infant death or stillbirth, which is basically giving birth to a dead child. It's so heart-wrenching to work through these episodes. It's so depressing, and obviously they're trying to find the light in it and this and that. But I keep getting referrals from her, and this is going to sound rude, but I don't want to turn into the dead baby production studio, I don't want that. I don't want to accidentally fall into that niche. One of the guys I work with, he accidentally fell into this women's hormonal health niche when he wasn't trying to. It's just referrals kept coming and coming. And since he didn't control his niche, he fell into something that was out of his control, and he doesn't enjoy. He enjoys the money, but he doesn't enjoy the shows. So I'm trying to get ahead of it, find a niche of something that I would love to listen to 8 hours a day and try to own that space. So I'm working with someone right now to try to figure out how to get into that market and kind of just take over. With that, I didn't even make my goal last year of $100,000, but I'm upping it to $150,000 this year. And I want to end the year with $20,000 in savings. Weirdly enough, it seems oddly achievable with kind of the amount of work I'm doing. I tripled my rates last year. I'm working with new people that are paying even more. And I want to be making that much money for something later on. I do want to pay all my loans. I want to be paying them all full price, getting them out of there. Cause I want to be, if I'm making $150,000, I can be debt free in less than 6 years, but that's kind of the goal. I want to have 10 more clients by the end of the year, each of them paying my full rate, which would make $150,000 pretty easy to accomplish. So I'm looking forward to that. And it can't all be active income. I want it to be a little more passive. So I want to have products to sell. That could be our T-shirts for Reminiscent that we have available at reminiscentpodcast.com/shop, or the T-shirts for Clean Cut Audio, which is the same thing /shop. And the info products, the courses, we're selling those for close to $1,000 a piece. So, one sale, I keep half of it. One sale is $500. I'd like to sell thousands of those and make a ton of money so I can pay my loans off and buy a house and shit. And more about just diversifying streams of income. I don't just want to edit all day. I want to do more public speaking. I did this featured guest call-in thing at the San Francisco's Podcaster Alliance, whatever the hell it's called. And it went really well, and I got some work out of it. So I'd like to do more of that on stage, really get into the educational role and become more of an authority in the field on audio production for podcasting. It's kind of a big one because that's, huge for brand authority. It's huge for expert authority and getting more work, getting consulting jobs, and scaling things into the way that I'd like to. And then the other two are, I want to 10x our listeners again of Reminiscent. I want to be ending the year 10 times better than where we are now. And based on, we 4x'd the listeners in the last 4 months of the year, and we're still trying new things. So I'm hoping that's attainable. We're going to keep doing the podcast either way because it's fun as but Pat and I do a ton of work behind the scenes in order to just get a ton of content that goes out with it to get these things done every week. It is more work than probably either of us even recognize as we're in the moment, but certainly it's a lot more work than most listeners who don't do their own podcast could ever realize that, what's going on behind the scenes. And for my YouTube channel for Clean Cut Audio, which is educational audio for podcasting, I want 5,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year, and I want to monetize my channel. Now, today I just hit 200 subscribers, which is, I think 2 months ago, I only had 30 or 40 subscribers. So that's pretty good momentum. There's a website that can I don't know what algorithm they're working with, but they have projections, and basically being at 5,000 is something they project to be by the end of 2021. So I'm going to try to shave a year off of that and hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube so I can educate more people. And then the very last thing, probably the biggest thing I've ever had on a list, part of the reason why I want so much more money this year is because Megan and I have decided this is the year that she is going to get pregnant. So, yeah, it seems like in fall. I think this might be the first time I've ever said it out loud, and already I'm having a panic attack. But yeah, we're gonna try to start a family in fall, which is super scary. Part of me wants to, run away into the mountains, and I don't know. But we're going to go for it.
If you need help, living in the mountains,
I got a guy.
I thought you meant for the other thing. I was like, I think your science is off a bit there, bud.
But yeah, man, I mean, basically what we want is for 2021, we want to be living in Asheville, with a kid and own a house is, kind of what we're each year sets up the next. So 2020 has to be about making tons of money so we can raise a family, because I grew up poor as and I refuse to raise a child that doesn't have the that they need to survive. So, yeah, I want to provide, that, I don't know, masculine or fatherly instinct.
It's real. I believe you. It's there.
Yeah.
I'm there.
So that's it, man. I mean, that's a ton of stuff. Big stuff for all of us. And I think if each of us accomplish even half of those things, it's a pretty damn good year.
It's quite the bombshell you dropped on us at the end there, Tommy.
Yeah, dude. I'm okay, so
congratulations. That's wild.
Thanks, man. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, and I've kind of even after saying that, I could live the rest of my life without having a child and probably be just fine. I knew that marrying Megan, she wanted kids, so I knew what I was signing up for. And it's kind of that, it sounds up, but it, I'll have a kid. You don't have to, whatever. There is part of that fear. It's but what if I hate them? What if I just want to be selfish with my time and never have to worry about anything or anyone?
I think it might help you find your why too, though. I mean, you have all this ambition, and now it might be able to channel your. I don't know. I think it might be. I'm not advocating for or against having kids. People can live their lives however they want, but it might help you channel your energy into a very direct, providing sort of pretty direct goal, which I think could turn into a pretty beautiful thing. I don't know. I'm very happy for you. I'm at a loss for words. That's awesome, man.
Well, right after we decided, all right, this fall we'll do it. Because again, my wife is 36. I'm 28. So we can't wait another 5 years. You know what I mean? But
can't wait another 2. Right? I mean,
I watched Mike Birbiglia's comedy special, the new one, about him dealing with trying to get his wife pregnant and then having kids, and I was again ready to run away for the first half of that comedy special. I mean, it does sound scary, but I do think that some people will have a kid to compensate for something they feel like they're missing. I don't think that's where I necessarily am. I guess most of my fear is just being ready, because I mean, even at this point, especially with paying the student loan so aggressively, I'm barely eking by month after month, or paycheck to paycheck. So obviously when we're both paycheck to paycheck, adding a child into the mix is probably more than we can handle right now. But I think if we both get super aggressive about honing in our business and getting better with spending money, saving, making way more than we have been, we could easily manage raising a child. So it's crazy. Part of me still feels like I'm lying, but yeah, I mean, we've got
a few months to figure it out. Sounds like.
No, not have a kid in fall. I mean, impregnate her in fall.
I'm saying you got a few months to toil,
okay.
But for now, congrats, man. That's great. No, just
Right.
kidding. That you and Megan are great. That sounds again, and if you decide, whatever, it's all good. We're here. So that's just exciting news, man.
I'm going to put a link in the show notes, which will be at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/152. There was an SNL skit. It was like Duolingo for how to talk to kids. And I cannot talk to children. Like, I just don't know what to say, And I thought that little bit was kind of funny. I'll put a link in there because now I'm like starting to think. I mean, I've got years before I have a child that is speaking the English language, but I'm like already super stressed about it. How do I talk to my kid?
You've had like 30 years of prep time for the whole. Yeah, you're good, man. Like you're gonna be way ahead of this kid.
I'm an anxiety-ridden mess most days, so that's where I'm coming from.
Perhaps it'll simplify things and be a calming force for you.
I doubt it, but what?
add Asheville to the mix. A quiet wooded town.
Yeah,
you could be in a
Smoky
place you
Mountains.
enjoy instead of a place you don't enjoy.
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
Not to put words in your mouth.
Well,
I'm excited for Zach to go back to Erie.
me too.
Recharge, man. Get the batteries full. Why not?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, anything to wrap it up before we give songs of the week and get out of here?
2019 was a reset year, and there wasn't much to report. But I got married the year before that and did like a crazy amount of other stuff. So it was kind of like nice to take a minute just to take stock before like launching into the rest of adulthood, which is forever. So it's kind of like seemed like not a necessary evil, but a necessary time to just kind of ponder for a touch and kind of like, okay, here's where we're headed. It was needed, but not the flashiest, I'll say, for me personally. But come out the other end for kind of primed for hopefully a pretty exciting, next year. My sister's getting married and stuff, and there's a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be excited for. Yeah,
Nice.
If we keep that in mind, there's so many things to be thankful for. We're all pretty lucky people. The people that we share our lives with are also real lucky. We got a lot of good things going for us. And so do the people that are in our lives. So really, if you get down at the end of the day, man, it's good. Life's good.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
there's always
just life.
drugs.
Well, that's why I'm so damn happy now.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. That
But
was
there
a
are. But also like, we're kidding. But there are. But we're kidding. No, just kidding.
But don't. But
I'm
I
kidding,
do.
but- No.
Well, very cool. Let's give our songs of the week.
Yeah, I'll go with Emily Alone, the album by Florist. I think
whole
the
album.
first track on that.
Okay.
Tom, will you shut the up for a minute? As Alone is track 1, and I liked it a lot. It's definitely kind of I don't know. It's slow paced, but good. I like the vibes. It's slow. It's soft. It's emotional, but I like it.
And I'm sorry, I was railroading you. What's the artist name?
Yeah, I think you were waiting me for not do it right, which to your credit, for me to not do it right, but to your credit, I don't do it right any week. But it's Florist, the album Emily Alone. Track 1 is called As Alone, and I like it quite a bit.
Florist?
Yeah, Tom, I don't know, man. You asked me a lot of questions. That's the name of the band. That's the name of the album.
I just don't know if I'm hearing it right. See, what's unfortunate is we talk over like Skype, which sounds like and then I feel like I can never hear you while we're recording, and then when you listen back to the recording, it's clear as day, so I just sound like an idiot that can't hear anything.
Right. No, sometimes you tell me there's interference, so I like have this setup that makes it inconvenient for me to do this at all. Like my phone's over here, my notebook's over there, everything's spread out to try to make it sound as good as, so you basically don't yell at me every week. So, Florist, yeah, like as if one who deals with flowers, I guess, is the name of the act.
Okay.
Yes, you're hearing that well. I'll do this. Florist. Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I don't want to make it too personally because I got on your case the other week about that. And we're fighting like an old married couple. You know I got much love, but I'm just doing my best here, man.
There's a band that a friend, Chris, introduced me to. He listens to the show. He's a really good pop punk dude. He's got a couple podcasts out there. If you're into beer, he has a show called Pubcast Worldwide. In some of the episodes, he uses a song that I wrote for the show, which was fun. But he introduced me to a band called The Bottom Line. The opening song from their album is called Reasons. It's got some of the good like halftime, like pop punk breakdown type stuff. Other songs of theirs remind me of early career, The Starting Line. And it's just kind of fun to hear like a new band with like really good modern production doing some kind of like, reminiscent throwback music. So yeah, Reasons by The Bottom Line. What do you got, Zach?
Well, I'm looking at some tunes that I listened to when I went home for Christmas. And I think it appropriate because this self-titled Nickel Creek album turns 20 years old this year because it is 2020. And the first track on this self-titled album, Ode to a Butterfly, it is a bluegrassified jam, and it's sweet, and it's a 4-minute, 11-second song, so it's a instrumental, and it's just freaking awesome bluegrass tunes. And congratulations, it turned 20. It's been around for that long.
And is this like the prequel to Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly?
Absolutely not, actually.
Okay.
I was curious as well, Tom. I didn't want to be the one to ask, but
Make no mistake, it has nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar.
I had to Google who put out that album because I couldn't remember. I just didn't remember the name of it. All right. Cool. Awesome. 20-year anniversary. We've got quite a few 10 and 15-year anniversaries coming up that we'll be discussing in 2020. A huge new crowd of music we'll be talking about. So this is our self-indulgent beginning of the year episode where we talk about ourselves. And this is not typical of the show anymore. The first 100 episodes, absolutely. But we're going to have new stuff coming out. You can hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm if there's anything you would like to hear us talk about on the show. And we will get to that. There's also quite a few people out there who listen to the show every week, it seems like, who aren't subscribed. So make sure to smash that subscribe button, put your finger through your phone, etc., etc.
Smash it. Just smash it.
Frickin' phone.
Smash it. Just
And,
take your finger and smash it.
We've got quite a few more listeners than we do reviews, and reviews don't mean anything. They're a total vanity and maybe social proof number, but hey, they make us feel good. So maybe my resolution is to guilt everyone into giving us more reviews as well, because we'd appreciate it.
Tell a friend would be the main thing. And also, get at us on Twitter at _reminiscentfm about whether or not it'd be worth that trouble to do a brand new episode, even though Jesse Lacey has been canceled. We've been kind of on the fence about whether it'd be worth it, but it does fall into the Venn diagram of the stuff we like to cover, but it might not be worth the hassle. Let us know what you think. We've been kind of talking about that lately, and it's been on the back burner. But anyway, just wanted to throw that in.
Right on. Well, I love you guys. I'm glad to hear we all had pretty decent, or good, rather, 2019s. And here's to another awesome year. I love you all.
Love you too, man.
Love you too.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here through this super self-indulgent episode. Next week, I promise we will be back to the early 2000s emo and pop punk. But please tweet at the show at _reminiscentfm and let us know what your biggest goals and resolutions for the year 2020 are. We would love to champion you in any way that we can, because this is our year. Tell a friend about the show. It really does go a long way. We'd like to see the show grow more and more so we can provide a community for people who love this weird kind of offbeat music like we do. We will see you all next week. We love you all. Bye.